Good morning, Corrie Thorne, the spiritual healer, coming in to do my channeled message for the week of uh, the beginning of June. This is May the 31st, last day of May, moving and shifting into a new energy. As of Saturday, um, we started into retrograde, and it was a retrograde into Mercury, I believe. Astrology is not is not what I do. I channel, so I am a channel and a mystic, and I'm channeling through this energy for 2 or 3 days, and this pause, this stillness, this quietness, but this awareness. And I've been saying this for months in all my channel messages that you're going to see things being revealed, like secrets coming out, the unveiling of secrets. And in order to heal, we have to unveil those secrets. And so this week, I want to first start with my deepest level of condolences to all that would be impacted. The whole world is impacted by when we feel and sense and know these things, but for the 215 children, the bodies that were found in Kamloops, um, and understanding on a deeper level of humanity that this this is wrong in so many ways and so many levels. And I just want to, I don't know if there's I don't know if there is such words as there is actions towards change. And as a channel and as a mystic, I speak about things from a 360 view of when we look at a whole story, a whole situation, our behaviors, as you know, the behaviors of human, the thought that any human could believe that um, that one would be superior over another is something that we need to look at on a deeper level in humanity. We need to do things different as a whole, and there's a wholeness of the story there that needs to change. And I myself am of Aboriginal uh, ascendants. My ancestors on my mom's side of the family are Mi'kmaq First Nations. I understand, and that we all carry the trauma of our families to be the change that we want to see in this world. Is we have to be the change within us. We have to be willing to look at the hard stuff, and this is hard stuff that we have to look deeper in, and to understand that we have to look at all of this band-aids and surface work is not going to bring the healing that is needed in this world today. We need to dive deep. We need to look at that as that in humanity, like in the human race, we have the ability to convince ourselves that any of this in any spectrum, any way, is a right decision, a right thing to do. And no matter who, where we are, no matter race, culture, no matter what it is a human problem. And we have a human problem of allowing one person or a one organization or one group to be able to instill that much fear, to have that much control, to take over that much ownership, to be able to convince anyone or to be able to fear anyone into those things happening. We have to do better as humans, and that's a truth. And I just want to be, it's like I incorporate this into my own teachings. I incorporate it from the wisdom that I receive from out there. Is that may seem, like a big thing, but it's like, and I've heard this, it's like, you know, I said sometimes I lose hope in the humanity, but I really don't. I believe that we can, as a human race, be a change on a much deeper level. And it doesn't start by first attacking each other. It starts by looking at the original source, where this begins and how one little cluster can gain that much power and that much control to do this, to lead people to into fear, into into the depths of the darkness, and then convince people that it was okay, or why we keep covering up secrets. Why not expose it, heal it? And on top of that, why do we not allow children to be children? And why do we put children or young youth in positions and jobs and roles, put them into cults, put them into organizations where they are expected to become adults sooner than they need to be? And that is also a concern. So my hopes, my prayers, where I place all of my love and light is into being the change in me that I would like to see in the world. And that's what I kind of ask for others, is that we're not here to tell people how to live our lives. We should all know. We should all have, there's an innate inside of us that tells us that we all should know that if something feels wrong, it is wrong. That we can trust that and not to be led by fear. So I hope in some way that we can see these changes happen in the world. In the meantime, I send love, light, healing out into the world in ways that um that I hope it just spreads. I hope it just spreads. My hope is that love and light spreads. And no more fear, judgment, canceling, whatever it may be. A lot less of all of that, a lot more of let's open up the Pandora's box on the secrets, and let's look at our own actions, our own behaviors, and to know that if we have the ability to either abandon, to run, to hurt, to harm, to criticize, to judge, that we also have the ability to love, to love, to understand the power of love, to live in the light. We have the power of compassion, kindness, of all the virtues, to set ourselves free of everything that takes us to the place of taking our lives into any depth of that darkness. And we all have the potential to shift our energy to live more in the light. Let's go that direction. Well, then on to the rest of the channel messages that are for this week. As I step into my deep seated grandmother energy as well, and my love of children, is that this week we are in retrograde. And retrograde is not, we don't spin backwards, nothing is spinning backwards, nothing is changing. It's just like this slow mo. So it's like this slow motion energy. And I feel like with this slow motion energy, it feels like we can fall over our own feet. We get stepped up because we keep trying to rush ahead. We keep trying to get things done. We keep trying to just push change or push. But if we just, like I said, if you just keep trying to push things and you just keep trying to just get things done just to have it done, then we're just going to have more band-aids. We're just going to have more of everything we don't want. And so more of everything you don't want is not what you want to see happening in your lives this week. We want to see more of everything that we need to see in our lives, which brings us into more of change, more of how can I be the change that I want to see in the world within myself? How can I start a how can I find my way to looking at my originals? So if you go back to the original blueprints, your original thoughts, your original ideas, your original, where did you fall away from your original loves, from your original faith, from your original self? Where did you fall away from that original of you? And so most of us don't even know who the original of us is. Like it's like, and that's the truth because I'm like, you're so contaminated. You're so you're so conditioned and programmed from such an early age, is that you believe the narratives of the stories that we are told, and you then believe that to be the truth. Just like someone saying, but you were a happy kid. How do you know I was a happy freaking kid? Well, we gave you everything. Well, that doesn't mean I was a happy kid. That means you provided that happiness because it made you feel happy about yourself, and you wanted me to be that happy kid. So you kept telling me I was a happy kid, but deep inside of my soul I didn't feel happy because maybe something wasn't happy for me. Maybe I was carrying something from another life. It doesn't mean that it's so when we look deeper and we look beyond, is that there's a truth to your story this week that is worth exploring this week, this month. It is worth exploring. I feel like by the end of June, we're going to be coming into some major changes, and speeding back up. But in the meantime, what we're looking at, and we have the performer, and she is Sasha. And this is from my deck of Oracle cards, the Everyday Goddess. So she's in attitude, she's in reverse, and they are inspiration and attitude. So the performer in Sasha is that she is being the imposter of her own light. She's being, she's living she's creating her character. She's playing her role. She's acting out who she thinks she needs to be. She's jumping on, the bandwagons of I should be angry, I should be mad, I should be this, I should be happy, I should be sad, I should be. Or she's like, no, I don't want people to see that. I don't want people to know that. Well, there's an unveiling kind of falling apart with this. So the attitude shows as much as you think you hide your attitude, you don't. Even if you're trying to perfect it, perfection shows perfection shows fear. And that's the truth. Perfection shows fear. That whole perfect, like, I'm only representing to you my most perfect side, my happiest side. I'm always this happy. I'm always this joyous. I'm always over the moon. That's not a truth because it's unobtainable. And so there's an unobtainable that we keep trying to achieve and trying to reach these perfections. And so it's an impossible. So if you only show people your absolute best, then people start to believe that to be, well, that's possible. That's the Instagrammy kind of view. That's the Facebooky. That's the filtered kind of life. I represent to you what I want you to see, but I don't speak a truth. So then there's us that spill out our, blah. It's like we're splattered on the pavements and on the road because we don't have that capability of hiding that truth. I'd rather, I'd rather have it out of the closet than to have it come out of the closet when you're after you've perfected, and then you got to try to reel it in. Then you got to do the whole publicity story of, oh, I didn't really mean that. It's like that's who I was. And well, we were all previous versions. But if you keep trying to perfect the image of your day, you're still playing the roles, the characters to everything that was of the past versions of you that you're still trying to hide. So you're either always on the run, you're always covering up. You're always trying to be something you're not. You're always trying, and there's that image. So it's nothing wrong with being absolutely beautiful, toned, in shape, like raw, that kind of like that is there's a difference, but it's called balance and understanding the importance of the balance and understanding that, when you are in any state of growth and development. And so from where I am today, I speak a truth. And from where I am today, I'm also very much still a human. And so from where you are today and from what you're exploring of yourself, you give yourself credit for where you are, where you have been, and what you've been living within, but also for where I am performing. Like, and so what is my attitude? And this is a good time during retrograde to really look at our own attitudes. And that means even when we're trying to put on the show, and the show of life will go on with or without us. But if you're still trying to put on the show, the act, that could be the rebel, that could be the fighter for the cause, that could be the martyr, that could be the perfectionist, that could be the always playing the mom, always playing that perfect mom, the perfect dad, always stepping into those roles. Is that, when do you who are you beyond that? And who do I need to be beyond that to be the change that we need to see in this world today? Because there's a lot of this that is not playing suit. And so I love this. The creator of the worlds comes out, and this is the enchanting alchemist. And the enchanting alchemist knows her truth. She holds her truth in her hand. She knows what is sacred to her. And there's sacred parts of all of us that are our deeper seated truth that are coming into alignment right now, that we are witnessing, that we're experiencing in here, that we're saying, you know, like there's a lot that's out there that we give out there of ourselves, But to know that there's sacred parts of us, that's not about secrets. That's about the awareness that you sometimes need to hold on to what's valuable of what you are learning, what you are growing in, what you're becoming, so that you can give to you first, so that you can provide for you first, so that you can let yourself feel it, evolve in it, grow in it, and then bring it forth. And so you don't have to share everything. Same thing, we don't have to share our misery of everything. We don't have to when we're going through a healing journey, you do not have to give, you do not have to spew out all of your hurt just be and not just, I don't want to use that word. You don't have to spew out all of your hurt because you were hurt by people. And you don't have to point fingers, and you don't have to blame everybody in the world. But when you're aware of your truth, you also don't have to keep holding on to what is not yours. And you make a choice and choose when you are healthy and whole to say, okay, I need to do this, and I need to speak about this, and I need to bring this forth. I need to, and some other things you're like, you know what? I've dealt with it myself. I'm not there. I don't feel a need to. And to know that you can do that, but it doesn't mean everybody can. So what is yours, what comes forth when you're in a healthy state of mind, and you're no longer trying to perfect anything like the story, the image, or you're no longer trying to hold the whole world accountable and responsible, is that I'm willing to take what is mine and to look at my role, to look at my original source, to get to the original point of where this starts and say, now I have to deal with mine. I have to do my work. And this is a time of doing that. So the create of the world is that we're here to create. So when we talk about creating change, creating a more beautiful world, a more beautiful life, it starts with us. And this is the time of being able to speak your truth, live in your truth. But is that going to go? What goes somewhere? What matters? What brings that change? And just knowing that this beautiful light is that when we're in that beautiful blue light energy, in the essence of change, transformation, in the divine mother, the divine holy realm of healing, that means like that whole sense of wholeness, perspective, views, um, looking at things in the 360 view. That's how we get deeper. And it's time for us to be willing to go deeper. And sometimes it's messy, sometimes it's not so messy. And sometimes we have to get a little bit messy. And it's okay to get a little bit messy. It's okay that we are a little bit messier. It's okay that we are there, and then we can put the pieces back together. And this is our time to start looking at how do we want to be the change that we want to see. It is time to start creating new worlds, and it's time to be able to look at our own role that we play in the world that we are existing in our own lives today, becoming our own enemy, becoming our own, our own destroyer, becoming our own performer, becoming our own anything. What role are we playing in our own lives today? And then what do we want to be in our own lives? How do we want to be represented within ourselves? And how do we move more into love and light, and to understand, to embody light means that we know that we have to have voices. We know we have to be changed, but we don't need more hate. We don't need more anger. We don't need more of everything that leads us into the depths of our darkness. We need more that leads us into the depth, into the greatness of the power of hope, faith, kindness, and compassion and caring. I care enough to need to see. I care enough to want to face all sides of this to bring the change that needs to happen. That's our message for this week. I hope it resonates with you in some way. Be the change within you that you want to see in this world. Much love.